Hello everybody. Sorry I'm a little bit late today. I had some slight technical issues, but I hope it's sorted now. Please let me know if you can see me and hear me. I hope that's okay. I see that there are a couple of people in the chat box already. Hello to Bagdalet, welcome back. Hi 123 and hello Shay. I like your little, is that a little kitten? Very cute. Hello to Hannah, welcome back, and hello to Silver Paper. Shay said we can see you, that's brilliant. I hope you can hear me as well. Hannah says, long time no see, that's right. How are you, Hannah? It's been a while. What have you been up to? And hello to Young Dan as well. Welcome back. I'm glad you guys can hear me and see me. That's fantastic. Okay. Brilliant. So, a new week begins. I hope you've had a good start to the week already and you're not too tired yet. It's only Tuesday. I know that the weather over in Korea has been extremely hot recently. So, lots of my students have been complaining about this heat wave. I hope you're okay, you're surviving, got your fans on. Here in the UK, it's about 20 degrees today, so it's not that hot. But it's okay, it's quite pleasant in the sun. I prefer it a bit hotter than this personally, but yeah. Over the Moon says hello, hi to you as well, welcome back. Shay says we're tired already. Yes, I know that feeling. Kind of waiting for the weekend again. Hello to Nana, welcome back, and So-woo. I hope you guys are okay. Yang Dan says only 20 degrees. Yes, it's not that hot at all. It doesn't feel hot, really. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any news from the UK, anything interesting going on. Well, not really much. I haven't been watching the news a lot lately. I'm a bit fed up with COVID, so I've been kind of ignoring it. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But yeah, most of the time it's about the Olympics and about COVID and things like that on the news these days. Yeah, so not really much else to report this end. Today we have an interesting topic. Well, I think it's quite interesting because it's about pronunciation, but it's about the way people in the UK pronounce certain words differently. And it doesn't depend on accent or dialect. So it doesn't really depend on where you're from in the UK. So it's not about that. It's just simply some people pronounce a word one way and some people pronounce it another way. So I've got 7 of these to share with you today. And I'd be interested to know if you've ever heard this before, if you ever heard anyone saying these in different ways, or if you say them in different ways as well. Hello to AR, you're a little bit late, that's okay, that's all right, we haven't got started with the 7 yet, so you're just in time. Now, last time we did a live stream, I stupidly left you hanging and I didn't tell you the answer to my pre-quiz question. So I'm really sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. I must have been, yeah, it must have got a little bit too late last time and I completely forgot to reveal the answer. So if any of you were here last week, we were talking about unusual things in British houses. And at the beginning of the stream, I gave a kind of pre-quiz question, which I forgot to give the answer to at the end. So I'm going to show you that pre-quiz question again today, and I'm going to reveal the answer straight away. Okay, so if any of you are wondering about it from last week, don't worry, the answer's coming really soon. Just going to have a quick look at the chat box. So Over the Moon said, I heard that young people can get vaccine incentives like discounted takeaways and taxi rides in the UK. Ooh, that could be the case. To be honest, I don't know. I can't say. Maybe. I really don't know. To be honest, the uptake in the UK has been quite good. So When I say uptake, I mean like the number of people who are accepting the vaccine in the UK has been quite good in comparison to some other countries. So a lot of people are happy to have it. I still know a couple of people who aren't happy to have it, but I would say the majority of the people I know want to have the vaccine as soon as possible, so that eventually you can travel, you can go to concerts, etc., that sort of thing. Right, well, let me share my screen with you as usual. I'm going to show you last week's pre-quiz question first. So bear with me whilst I show you my screen. Hopefully you can see it now. So this is today's topic: 7 surprising pronunciation differences Brits love to argue about. Yes, and people do argue about some of these things. Not all of them, but some of them they do argue about. Anyway, we'll come to that in a second. Here we go. I'm going to show you last week's pre-quiz. So I remember last week I showed you guys this picture and I said, what common expression does this picture illustrate? And we had a couple of answers. Some of you were saying cocktails, cocktails on the roof, that sort of thing. I gave you a clue, which is this. You might hear somebody saying this at a bar or restaurant. Does anybody want to have a guess now before I reveal the right answer in a second? Maybe you've been thinking about it or you have a new idea. The answer is not cocktails on the roof, by the way. So let me know if you have any ideas what expression this is. Young Dance says on the rock. No, it's not on the rock. It's on the something, but not on the rock. Think about where these cocktails are. Where are they? And just say what you see. What do you see in this picture? I'm going to wait a couple of seconds to see if anyone else wants to give it a try. Silver Paper said, oh, that's not cocktails. Okay, no, it's actually another word that we need. Yeah. Not booze, not on the roof. Okay, on the top. Not exactly. Good tries, guys, but no, I'm afraid not. Okay, I'm going to reveal the answer. Here we go. The answer is drinks are on the house. This is the expression. I bet some of you are sitting there thinking, oh, how did I not guess that? It's drinks are on the house, which basically means if somebody says drinks are on the house, it means drinks are free. So it means they're complimentary. Okay? Drinks are on the house. So if anything is on the house, it means it's free, basically. Complimentary. Some of you are saying, aha. There you go. I thought you might be thinking that. Yeah. So this is a good expression to know. I do have another pre-quiz question that I'm going to ask you, which I'm going to show you in a second. And this time I promise I will reveal the answer at the end. So please stick around till the end. Pagdilet says, that was so obvious. It's obvious when you know it, right? Okay, so let me show you today's one. So here we go. I've got this kind of little code. What does this say? So I want you to figure this out. Can you figure out what this code says? I won't tell you if you're right, but you can have a go now, but I'll let you know at the end of the stream who got it right and what the answer is. So have a look. Feel free to throw some ideas out there. But I will reveal the answer later. Okay. Looks like some very good ideas in the chat today. You're on top form, guys. Okay, I will reveal the answer at the very end and let you know if you were right. Good job. So let's get started on the first one on our list of 7 surprising pronunciation differences that British people love to argue about. Here we go. All right, so the first one. Here we have some classic quick snacks in the UK. I don't know if you guys have heard of pot noodles. I know that in other countries you have similar things. So basically noodles in a pot. You pour hot water on it and you have like a kind of instant meal, like a quick lunch, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is a picture from a supermarket. Pot noodles is a brand in the UK for instant noodles. Yeah. Young Dan says cup ramen. Yeah, that's basically it. We call them pot noodles because it's a brand name, this one. Anyway, I have an example about pot noodles. Have a look at this sentence. So this person says, I didn't have much time for lunch yesterday, so I quickly ate some pot noodles and got back to work. Does this sound familiar, guys? Do you do this on your lunch breaks sometimes, or when you're studying, maybe? I know that I do. I think pot noodles, I probably eat them maybe once a week when I don't feel like making anything special for lunch or I don't have much time. But you'll see that I've highlighted the verb ate, okay, which is the past tense of the verb eat. So it's an irregular verb. But this verb in the past tense can be pronounced in 2 ways. And I'm going to show you in a second. Some of you are saying that you sometimes eat pot noodles. Shay says never. What do you have then? Ainsley says pot noodles every day. Really? Wow. And Kirk says naked noodles or nothing. Yeah, I agree. Naked noodles are very good. That's another brand if you're not sure. So a couple of you are commenting about this. Now, let me show you the ate pronunciation. So as I just said it a moment ago, so you could pronounce this verb ate, so a, this sort of sound, but you could also pronounce it et, like in the second version over here. So you could say, I quickly ate some pot noodles and got back to work. So some people would say ate, some people would say et. There's no right or wrong here. It's just a simple case of kind of, I guess, the second version, et, is quicker to say, probably, so that's why people say it. So I would naturally say, I quickly ate some pot noodles. So I would say et, because it's quicker. We like to say things quickly if we can. So these are 2 pronunciations of this verb. Let me know if you've ever heard them or if you use ate or et. Which one do you normally say yourselves? Tell me if you've heard them. Young Dan said, I would not understand if someone says et. Okay, well now you will, because you know that I told you about this. But yes, I imagine it would be a bit confusing if someone said that and you'd never heard it pronounced in that way. Yeah. So yeah, you can try practicing it yourselves, guys. Like start trying to say it in 2 different ways each time you use the sentence. So it seems like most of you use the first one, ate. And some of you said, oh, I've never heard of this. Yeah. Hannah said, is that the same pronunciation of at, A-T? I always use the first one. No, it's not the same as at. The preposition at, because it's got the A sound, yeah? So you can say I ate. But in the second version, it's eh. So it's like the E of egg, for example. You'd say et. So I ate, I ate. Okay? So you can say Either of them, they're both perfectly fine. So that might be new for some of you, it seems. Yeah. Raphael says, pot noodles. I was trying to speak fast. I said, ate some poodles. Oh dear, poor poodles. Okay, so this is number 1. So this one seems to be new for most of you. Let me show you number 2. Okay, so this one. How do you spell? Oh yes, I have a question for you. Can anybody write in the chat, how do you spell hilarious? How do you spell that word? Can you write it for me in the chat? Hilarious, which means very funny. I'm checking your spelling today, guys. Okay, we've got a couple of comments. 1, 2, 3, you're forgetting the H at the beginning, and you need only one L. The next person on the list, you wrote it correctly. Well done. Very good, guys. Yeah, most of you got it right. Just remember, it's only one L, not double L. Okay? Very good, very good, very good. So the reason I'm asking you this question is because some people, when they spell the word hilarious, as an example, you can see it spelt here in case you're wondering. Some people might pronounce the first letter of this word as H. So you might say, how do you spell hilarious? H-I-L-A, blah, 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 blah. However, some other people in the UK might pronounce it like this, H. So it's exactly the same as the first one, apart from the sound H. So they actually add H at the beginning. So you could either say the letter H or the letter H. I personally don't say the second one. I say the first one. I say H because I was just, brought up saying that. I learnt it that way. But often I hear people saying H instead of H. So it's kind of a mix. You don't really know who's going to say what. What do you guys normally say? The first one or the second one? And have you heard people saying the second one when they talk about this letter? Let me know in the chat if you have or not. I figured it might be new for some of you. I'm not sure. Young Dan said it's confusing. Yeah, I guess it can be if you've never heard it before. Monica says, oh, I've never heard pronounced et in the USA. Aha, so you're referring to the first one. Aha. Yeah, maybe it's more of a British thing. It could be. Some of you are saying, so weird, I've never heard it before. Bagdalet said only the first one. Yeah, I figured some of you might just have heard H and not H. Yeah. Sky says, what? What? We don't normally do that. Son Young, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, says it's easier for me to say and hear the first one. Me too, to be honest. But a lot of people do say the second one. Yeah. Shay said, yes, I've heard my professor saying the second one. There you go. Is your professor British? And Monica said, it would be helpful if I heard of it in the UK from now on. Yeah, okay. Well, join this channel every Tuesday and I'll teach you about lots of things that you can hear in the UK. All right, so moving on to number 3, I think. Here we go. Yes, number 3. Okay. Oh, and Shay said he was American. Oh, so maybe Americans do say H. Interesting. So number 3, I have a picture for you. What do we call these delicious things? Type it in the chat if you know what these little kind of cake things are called. I don't really know how else to describe them. What are they? Any ideas? Okay, we've got a couple of answers in. Well done, guys. Yeah, very good. You know what these are. Brilliant. Very good, very good, very good. The answer is here on screen. And yes, it's with clotted cream. Well, I don't know if this is clotted cream, but it should be clotted cream. Clotted cream is like a very, very, very thick cream that we eat with these, and jam. We've got to have jam. So jam and cream. Now, this is something that people argue about a lot in the UK, this pronunciation. So I'm not sure if you guys say it, which way you say it. I have my preference. But how do you say the word that we just had on screen? Do you say it like this, scone? Or do you say it like this, scone? Which one do you normally say? I normally say scone myself, the one on the left, but I know other people who say scone. So it's kind of a mixture. Some people say scone, some people say scone, and anytime we eat these things, we always argue over which one is the right way to say it. So obviously, as I said, it's, you know, it's light-hearted. It's not a big argument, but people like to debate these things. So Young Dan says the first one. So you say scone, and InQ says the second one. You say scone. There you go. Bagdilet says second one. Over the Moon says the latter. Oh, okay. We've got a lot of scone people in the house today. And Dassel says between the two. There you go. Shay has said that for me, the second one is easier to pronounce. I see. Okay. For me, I say the first one. I think it's just because my mum and my dad always said that, so I would obviously copy them. The second one, scone, I don't know. I find it sounds a little bit posh. I don't know why. I always say scone, but of course you can say whatever you like. They are both correct. Okay. But yes, we do love to debate this. Sowu says, I'm on a diet, I want to eat. Oh my goodness, me too, Sowu. I'm in the same boat, but I would love to eat scones with cream and jam right now. Monica says, I heard the first one all the time, but my daughter started pronouncing the second one after she went to the reception. Aha, interesting. Well, then probably her teacher probably used the second one. Yeah. Very good. Okay, well, that was number 3. We've got a few more to go. Some of you are agreeing that it sounds posh, scone. Inky says, I like posh accents. Well, there you go. So you can say scone. Okay, so moving on to number 4. A question for you. Clues are on the left in these pictures. I'd like you to fill in the blank. Are you free tomorrow afternoon? Hang on, I just need to check my work. Any idea what the missing word is here? Type it in the chat if you know what the missing word is here. The clues are on the left, so hopefully that will help you. Well done, guys. Yes, very good. You're so clever, I must say. The answer is this. Very, very good. Fantastic. So you're checking to see what work you have to do. So it's like a kind of timetable, I suppose. Very good. However, people pronounce this differently, this word. And again, people often like to debate this in England. And sometimes people debate the pronunciation because they're not sure which one is British. Because it's in British and American pronunciation is a little bit different. And sometimes people say it in Britain and then they say, is it that or is it that? And they kind of, I've heard a lot of people kind of debating which one it is, which one's British, which one's American. Because obviously we would prefer to use the British pronunciation if possible. However, we say it in both ways. I've heard both from British people. So you could pronounce it like this, So it's pronounced schedule, schedule, or like this, schedule, schedule. So it's kind of basically the very first part of the word that's different. It's either shed, schedule, or schedule, schedule. Which one do you say? Yeah, I've heard both. So the first one is actually British pronunciation. So if you look in the dictionary, it will say that the first one is UK, schedule. And the second one is American pronunciation, schedule. However, we use both in the UK. I've heard people, British people, saying both. So don't worry about saying one or the other. Okay. So let's see what you guys are saying. 123 said, I've always heard the second way. Okay, so you've heard the American one, schedule. Slava also says number 2. Okay. Young Dan said, when I heard the first one, I was shocked. Aha, okay, interesting. And Hannah said, I've heard the first one when I studied TOEIC, Korean English test. Interesting. Okay. And Bagdalet says both of them. Shay says the first one. Okay, so it's a mixed bag, but it seems like most of you have heard the second one, maybe more than the first. I personally normally say the first one. I say schedule. That's just because I find it, I don't know, I just find it easier to say somehow. So I normally say that, but a lot of people say both. Doesn't really matter which one you say. Taeyang says, second one is familiar in Korea. Aha, okay. And Seon-young says, I've so far used the second one, but I learned how to pronounce the word in posh accent a month ago. Okay. So do you mean you knew the second one, but now you've learned the first one? Yeah? Okay. Well, as I said, both of them are perfectly acceptable. Don't worry. But they are words that even British people kind of mix up, mix up a little bit, or they debate which one is the British one, which one's the American one, which one should I say, etc. But yeah, you can say either schedule or schedule. Okay. Sky said, interesting, then which one is dialect, British or American? I'm not sure about dialect, but the first one is British pronunciation, and the second one is American pronunciation. Okay, but you can say both in Britain, so don't worry about that. I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have any other questions, guys, but we're going to move on in a moment to the next one on our list, which is number 5. We're getting to the end quite soon. Here we go. So we have a little conversation over here, and I'd like you to fill in the gap. So person A says, can I borrow a pen? B says, sure. Which one, blue or black? And A says, is fine. Thanks. What do you think A is saying in this conversation? All right, so we have a couple of answers coming in. Bagdalet answered. Young Dan as well. Let's see if anyone else has an idea. Okay, we've got a mixed bag of answers. Okay, I'll reveal the answer. The answer should be this word. Be careful of your spelling. We don't say both. Some of you are mentioning both. Both wouldn't work here because if you say both, it means that you want the blue one and the black one. So you want 2 pens. But you've asked for a pen, so obviously you only need 1 pen. Okay. If you say both, then you would be asking for both for 2 from the other person. Okay. In this case, you don't mind. So it could be the blue one or it could be the black one. It doesn't matter. So we can say either is fine. Okay. I hope that makes sense. But I said either, but it can be pronounced in a different way. It can also be pronounced either, like this. Either. Or either. Okay, so notice the difference in pronunciation. Again, both are perfectly acceptable. They're both fine. There's no difference here between a British and American English as such. We say both, and in the British English Dictionary, you can say both of them. They're both fine. So either or either. Okay. I'm looking at the conversation, at the chat box. Young Dan said, this conversation reminds me of Coke TV commercial. Does it now? Guess it could be quite a simple conversation, I guess. Hannah says, can I use whichever? Yes, I suppose you could use whichever. Yeah, I would say whichever is fine. I probably wouldn't say is fine. I'd probably say whichever and then stop after that. Or either. You could even say either and just stop there as well. Yeah. Sky has asked about the word neither or neither. Yeah, this is exactly the same rule. The same rule or same applies for this. So you can either say neither or neither. Okay, so just to repeat the 4 words again. The first one, either or either. And then the second 2 words, neither or neither. So you can use any of these words. They're all correct. And they're used in the UK. Which one would you normally say? Would you say the first one, either, or would you say the second one, either? I'm intrigued. I say both, to be honest. Like, it depends on the sentence. I don't know. I just depends on how, what comes out, let's say. So Slava has commented and said the second one. So you say either. Chin has a question, says, how about connected speech? Will you say either is fine without any connection or either is fine because of the R? When it's connected speech, as you said, I would probably say the R. You're right. So either is fine. So it kind of goes either is R. So we pronounce that R. So you're totally right about that because of the fact that it's connected to the vowel over there. Because it's a bit strange, I suppose, to say either is, because the either in British pronunciation, we don't pronounce the R at the end. It kind of sounds like which is a vowel. And then if the next word starts with a vowel, it would be quite difficult to say vowel and then vowel again. So I would insert the R like you wrote there. So I would say either is fine. So it kind of, there's a slight R sound in there. Very good question. Silver Paper says, me too. So you say the second one as well. Brilliant. Young Dan, you say both. Okay, yeah. Silver Paper said, depends on what comes out. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Over the Moon has asked, both are used in the UK? I normally say the second one. Yes, they're both used in the UK. You could say whatever you prefer. Hannah said, I've usually used the first one, but I've heard the second one in British films. Okay, there you go. Sun Young says, many Koreans have learned American English in public education system. Yes, I have heard that actually. So I'm accustomed to saying second ones with the R sound at the end. Oh, so you say either or neither. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say that because obviously most standard British accents we would drop the R, but I would only add it if there's a vowel coming next, like Chin said earlier. But yes, in American English that would be slightly different. Great comments, guys. Thanks for joining in. I have 2 more to show you. So let's move on to number 6, the penultimate pronunciation point. Here we go. Can you fill in the blank over here? How do you go to the gym? What's the missing word in this sentence? Any ideas? Let me know in the chat if you know what it is. Okay, we've got some answers rolling in. Very good, guys. Well done. Everybody's got it right. Fantastic. This is the answer. Very, very, very good. However, you may or may not know that this word is pronounced in two different ways in England. You can either pronounce it this way, often, so you pronounce the T, or often, where you forget the T, basically. Okay, so yes, Hannah, you got it over there, is the T sound. So you could say, how often do you go to the gym? Or how often do you go to the gym? Both of these would be fine. Yeah. So what do you think, guys? How do you normally pronounce it? Do you pronounce it like the first one, number one, often? Or do you say often, the second version? Which one sounds more natural to you, or is easier for you to say? Again, they're both right, so don't worry if you say one rather than the other. Silver Paper says the first one, often. Okay. Brilliant. And Young Dan said the first one is easier to pronounce. Aha. And Sky says the second one. Okay, interesting. So lots of different answers. I normally just say whichever one comes out, really, similar to the previous example. Whichever one kind of rolls off my tongue more easily. Okay. Bagdilet says I normally use the second one. Okay, and Bubble Tea says the second version is more familiar. Brilliant. Okay. Sihi says I like the first one. Nice. Let's have a look at some other comments. Silver Paper says, but I really wonder which one is correct, and I know both is correct. Yeah, so they're both correct. You don't need to wonder anymore. They're both perfectly fine. Yeah. Chan says, I get used to the second one, but I'm going to try the first one. Okay, yeah. Why don't you try and kind of test, like, push yourselves a little bit and try and try different ones each time. They're both perfectly acceptable. Hello to Sohyun, welcome. Okay, guys, we're moving on to the final one. So drum roll, please. Number 7, here we go. Final one on our list. But first we reveal the answer to the first pre-quiz question. And the answer was, can you see I love you? Which a lot of you, to be honest, a lot of you got it right. So well done. You're very clever. As I said before, amazing answers. The answer is, can you see I love you? And that is the code that I showed you earlier. So fantastic. You got it right. Very smart people. Yes, yes. And the reason why I've put this here, apart from the fact that I don't want to forget to reveal the answer, like I did last week, stupidly, is the question says, what does this say? And if I was to answer this question, I'm just looking at the chat, and 123 says, today we're on fire. Yes, I like it. Yes, you are on fire. The reason I put this here is it says, can you see I love you? Can you see I love you? And I've highlighted the verb says here because we pronounce it two ways, this verb. Says or says. So you could say, it says, can you see I love you? Or it says, can you see I love you? Okay, so let me know if you've heard this word pronounced in different ways. I think I would say the second one in this case. I'd say it says, can you see I love you? Because it seems quicker to say, I guess, than says. Yeah. Bagdilet said, brought out A game. Yeah, you did bring your A game. Good job. Sky says, it's news to me, says. Okay, Sohyun says. Okay, all right, the second one. Okay, so most of you would say the second one, right? Interesting. Chan said, I have been confused a lot for this. Sohyun said, I'm using the second one. Well, again, when you look it up in the dictionary, British dictionary, you can use says or says. Both are fine. Yeah. Yeah. Says, it says, can you see I love you? Or it says, can you see I love you? Both are perfectly fine. So, good job, guys. We have finished the 7 on my list, and now it's time for our mini quiz. We didn't get a chance to do it last week, so I'm very happy that we've got some time left to do this. I've got 3 questions for you in this mini quiz, and I would love for you to type your answers in the chat. So I'm going to ask you a question, give you 3 options, A, B, or C, and you need to type in the chat box which one you think is the correct answer. Try to do it as quickly as possible, and the first person to get it right wins. And is there a reward? I can't really think of one today. Monica, you're not alone, Bagdilet said. What did Monica say? Okay, Monica said, is it only me using the first one? No, I sometimes use the first one, Monica. Yeah, you can use either of them. Right, here we go. Mini quiz question number 1. Are you ready? Here we go. Question number 1. So, apart from its pronunciation, what else about scones do people argue about? Is it A, whether they should be eaten warm or cold? B, whether the cream or the jam should be put on first? Or C, what flavour jam you should eat with them? So type your answers in the chat. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Okay. Looks like you guys know about this already. It seems that way. Well done. You are on fire, as we said earlier. Now, on my screen, it looks like Sehi or Sihi was the first one to get it right. Well done to you. The answer is indeed B. Very, very good. I'm surprised you guys know about this. Where did you hear about this? But I'm glad that you got the answer right, so well done. The answer is yes, whether the cream or the jam should be put on first. Although, yes, Hannah said it seems all 3 things could be good answers. Yes, we don't normally argue about the A and C, although I'm sure everybody has their preference. In my case, I like them to be a little bit warm, and I like raspberry jam on mine. But I have tried it with lemon curd before, and apricot jam and strawberry jam. They're all delicious, to be honest. Yeah. But yes, the answer is B, and I'm going to show you something. This is actually a kind of argument, let's say, between 2 parts of the UK. In the southwest, if you look at the map here, you can see the southwest of the UK. We have Devon and Cornwall, which are massive areas, and they are neighbours, and they're often kind of like rivals. And scones with cream and jam, they come from that area of England, okay, originally. However, in Cornwall, as you can see in the picture at the top, they put their jam on first and then they put cream on top. Whilst Devon, apparently the best way to do it is cream first and then jam. So when we eat scones for afternoon tea in the UK, people often comment on this at afternoon tea and they say to each other, oh, do you put the cream on first? Oh, you must be doing it the Devon way then. Or is that the Cornwall way? Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I like them both, really. So we have like these little mini arguments or debates, rather, at afternoon tea or when we eat scones. Okay. Sky says Koreans argue over something. What is it that you're arguing over? I don't understand that. Can you explain? Silver Paper said, I'll try raspberry jam the next time. Oh, yes, you should. It's very good. And if you can find lemon, we call it lemon curd. You should try that as well. If you like lemon, it's really nice. Youngdon said we should put the cream on first. And Soyun is asking me, what do you prefer? I would go the Devon way, Sohyun. I would definitely put the cream on first and the jam second. The reason is because I feel like it's more practical because the cream is quite sticky. So you can put the cream on and then just drop the jam on top. If you do it the Cornwall way, I think it's quite difficult to spread the cream on the sticky jam, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's it's a matter of choice, really. Monica says, argue over pouring sauce versus dipping. Ah, is that what you argue about in Korea? Oh, that's interesting. I think I'd probably do dipping rather than pouring. I don't know. Is that wrong? What do you think? Some of you, Over the Moon said there's amazing scones a stone's throw from my house. Oh, I really fancy a scone now. Oh, I'd love a scone. Delicious. Yeah. And Ji here says, I think Devon way is easier and more beautiful. Nice. I agree. Okay, let's move on. Second question. Here we go. No more scones for the moment. Question 2. Here we go. How often are there public holidays in England? Is it A, 8 times a year, B, 10 times a year, or C, 11 times a year? In a normal year, what do we normally have? 8, 10, or 11? What do you think? So we've got some answers coming in. Let's see. Sky says most of Koreans love dipping. Ah, yes. So I'm a true Korean at heart. Bubble Tea said there's a great scone cafe near Kew Gardens. Lovely. Okay, lots of answers coming in. Well done, guys. Fantastic. It looks like on my side that integrity, you were the first one to get it right. The answer is A. Well done. Looks like a bit of a difficult question, I think. I wish it was C, but no, it's actually 8 times a year. It's A. Yeah. And I'm going to show you the public holidays for 2021. By the way, we call these bank holidays as well. So you can say public holiday or bank holiday. But I think this is only a British thing. Bank holidays. 8 times a year. So basically we have Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So that's the 25th and the 26th of December. And then we also get the first day of the year, so the 1st of January, so that's 3. And then we have Easter, which is a religious celebration. And for Easter, we get 2 days. We get Friday and Monday, so that's 5. And then we get 2 holidays in May, so they are just spring holidays, and 1 in August. So in total, that's 8. It is quite short in comparison to other countries. Bagdalet is asking, what are bank holidays? Bank holidays are public holidays. So days when everybody should be off work, basically. Okay. So I'm going to show you 2021. So these are the ones that I was telling you about. However, and this might be a bit different to some of your countries, I'm not sure. in England or in the UK, if a bank holiday happens to be at the weekend, so Saturday or Sunday, we get an extra day. So if you look here, this year, Christmas Day is on a Saturday and Boxing Day is on a Sunday. So because of that, we're going to get an extra day, like a substitute day. So Monday and Tuesday, the 27th, 28th, will be our kind of substitutes for those 2 days, because it's not fair, I suppose, to have a bank holiday at the weekend because most people are off work at the weekend anyway. So because of this, the government gives an extra 2 days in this way. Does that make sense? So if Boxing Day or Christmas Day was during the week, then we wouldn't get these extra days. But if they're at the weekend, we get extra days. Yeah. Sky says Korea has 2 days off for religion, Buddha and Christ. Very nice. G here says, except bank holidays, how many holidays people normally have in law? By law. So by law, most companies give you 28 days. Well, I guess that's 20 days. So 8 days are public holidays or bank holidays, and 20 are your own holiday that you can take whenever you want, basically. Yeah. Hannah says, obviously this varies from company to company, but I think the standard is 28 days. Hannah says, oh, then from September, British people have to wait Christmas. Exactly. So from, beginning of September, the next holiday is Christmas time. All right, guys, we're going to go on because we don't have any time left, I'm afraid, but we do have time very quickly to do question number 3. Question number 3 is, in which of these words is the letter H or H silent? So we don't say it. Is it A, B or C? Obviously, I'm not going to say the word because that would give it away. Which one has a silent letter H or H? Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Ooh, mixed answers. Well done, guys. Some of you have got it right. Okay, it looks like Slava is, Slava is the first one to get it right. The answer is C. Well done, Slava. Very, very good. So C, we pronounce it vehicle. Vehicle. So there's no H at all. So it's Y, vehicle. A vehicle is a sort of, anything that kind of drives on the road would be a vehicle. So a car or a van or a truck would be a vehicle. The other words, you pronounce the H. So in A, we say beehive. So we say H, beehive. A beehive is the home that bees live in the tree. Beehive. And alcohol, I'm sure you know what that is. Alcohol, so we say H, we say the H in both of these words. Beehive, alcohol, but in C, vehicle. So there's no H there. So well done on that. Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, but we've reached the end of the stream. I'm going to have to say goodbye. I will be here next week at the same time, so 2 p.m. UK time, which is 10 p.m. in Korea. So please join me with a different topic next week, okay? Thank you so much for joining in, for participating and being great. It's been great. And you've been on fire today, guys. Well done. Brilliant answers. So I'll see you next week. Have a lovely week and stay safe, okay? And I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye, guys.